Welcome back. In this video, we're going to take a look at general market and industry research tools and tips. And the goal of this video is to introduce you to these tips and tools, and then using all our information to identify the target market, which is the next step before we can then clearly sit down and say, what is the strategy of our business? So let's jump over to the My SME Manual. We're going to scroll down to the table of contents and go to additional industry and market research. And there's a couple of methods here that I suggest you use when it comes to the general searches. Let's first of all just do a general search on Google. If I jump over to my browser, I'm going to open up a new tab and we're going to look at men's shoe industry. This is now we want to get a general idea of what's happening in the industry and in South Africa, because I want to launch this business in South Africa. I can even go and say men's shoe industry in Cape Town, but let's first of all start with South Africa and see what we get. If you're in Canada or in another part of the world, then it obviously makes sense to just use your area. And at the top, you'll see there's always ads, because this is part of the keywords that people bid on when it comes to Google Ads. You've got statistics, footwear, South Africa statistics. You've got marketresearch.com, South African footwear industry. So there's a lot of areas where you can go and do a bit of research to what's happening in the industry. These brands, if I'm correct, sell their data for a certain amount, and then you can read up about it. We're predominantly looking for a free tool because we don't really want to pay at this stage for the market research. So I suggest, if they ask you money, try to find another way of looking at it, or try to find something else where you can get some proper data. Let's jump back to the My SME Manual. I've listed some other options as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at Entrepreneur Mag to see if they've got some articles on the men's shoe industry. And this is accessible for everybody in the world. Nobody is going to struggle to really use Entrepreneur Mag to their advantage. Let's type in here shoe industry. I'm going to just be a bit more specific and say men's shoe industry. Let's see what comes up. And there you go. You'll find a couple of articles popping up about the shoe industry in South Africa. Phil Knight, obviously a great story of how Nike was born. If you haven't read Shoe Dog yet, it's the autobiography of Phil Knight. I highly suggest you make a plan as soon as possible. It is a brilliant autobiography. Right, and there you go. There's a couple of articles that you can sink your teeth into to get a better understanding of the industry in the world when it comes to shoes. There's a couple of other areas here as well. BizTech, they've got some good articles. You've got Forbes, you've got Biz Community. So there's a couple of channels you can use. The one that I like a lot, and it's very accurate, is PwC's Industry and Market Research. So I've added a link for you on the My SME Manual. So let's hover over this link, hit Control and click. It will open then up in the browser. And just note that not all the industries will be on PwC's list of research. But we ultimately want to see if our industry is listed on here. So let's go and look for South Africa, because that's where we want them information on. And we're going to scroll down. At the top you'll see industries. You can click on that, and then it should open up the list of industries that they cover with their market research. So we've got automotive, agribusiness, asset wealth financing, banking, chemicals, capital, energy, engineering, education, financial services, forest paper, packaging, government, public sector, hospitality, healthcare, insurance, industrial, and the list goes on and on and on. And you can go check out here if your industry is listed on PwC. I'm going to look for shoes or retail. That's going to be my take when it comes to doing research now. So we're going to look for retail or shoes or anything that can align with that. And here we go, retail and consumer. I'm going to click on retail and consumer. It should then open up and give me a couple of articles that I can read up on. There's an overview, and you can also then look for the PDF document on this specific industry. Let's just go, oh, here we go. Featured Insight, Global Consumer Insight Survey. So you even get a Global Consumer Insight Survey, which is fairly up to date. So PwC does keep their market research up to date. Right, I'm just looking for the PDF document that I normally download for these industries to do some market research on. Let's scroll up to see if we missed anything at the top. And we can actually start with overview. So here you can see retail and consumer industry. South Africa-based businesses in the consumer and retail markets are facing a myriad of challenges. And here you go. You can start reading this overview part. That's going to give you some information on the industry that you're looking for. You can then scroll down, read through all of these concepts. We already clicked over here and it opened up for us on this page. You can read through and see what is applicable, play around, and the information surely will help you with your business. So this is my favorite tool when it comes to industry knowledge. Not necessarily market research, but more an overall knowledge of what's happening in the industry and what the consumer thinks and the data and the statistics. Very, very helpful. So let's jump back to the My SME Manual. There's a couple of tools. There's one more tool, especially for South Africans, that I want to identify. It's called WASIMAP. I've added the link on the blueprint. If you click on WASIMAP, it's going to open up for you this very, very nifty tool. Let's say I want statistics on Tiger Valley, Cape Town. I'm not sure if it's going to be that specific. Maybe let's say Cape Town. And we're going to take a look at a certain ward here in Cape Town. This is a very, very, very good tool. So I can scroll out, look for my specific area, which is then located over here. And we can then say, right, this is the target this is the area I'm targeting. It looks like Ward 70. Right, so I'm looking for Ward 70. I just want to see how I get back there. Or even if I look at the whole Cape Town region, this will also work nicely for my market research. It's going to give you a lot of statistics when it comes to the political parties that people are voting for, the number of registered voters. It's going to then become a bit more specific to the demographics when it comes to the average age that you see in the area. It's going to help you with the population that you see in the area, the language that most people speak. Language plays a massive role because language identifies culture. And once you can identify culture in your target market, it means that you better understand how to communicate to them because that's the way that they interpret it. So culture is pretty big. This is quite an important stat that you see over here. And we get the migration, citizenship, households, another important stat. How many owns houses? You look at the annual household income. This is a very important stat to know more or less what your consumer earns per month. And then you get some finer details here as well. This maybe if you look at the electricity, it could be helpful if you're looking to go into the solar and green energy space. Right, so there you have it. That's a very nifty tool if you're in South Africa to use when you look at your regions in South Africa. We're going to jump over to the My SME Manual, and I want to finish off this video by looking at the target market. Now, we've done all the research that is necessary. We started off with the trends in the market by identifying a couple of keywords. We see here that the men's shoe is trending the most versus formal shoe second and men's leather shoe third. Then we did a keyword search to see how many searches we get for these keywords per month. Men's shoes and men's leather shoes definitely trends, and it's going to give you about 2,500 searches per month at an affordable cost per click. The formal shoes could either be for female or for male. I will then, from my side, have to test that keyword and see what I get in results. And that's going to ultimately help me to make better adjustments to my keyword campaign. We've done a proper analysis on the competitor. We've identified that there's a lot of competitors in my region, especially at the malls. And we see here that when we type in shoe shop, our main competitor is Aldo Shoes. Right, and then we took a look at what Aldo Shoes is more about. So we looked at their target market, their products and services, their pricing, competitive advantage, website link. Note that this was just a brief identification of Aldo Shoes. I haven't in depth done proper competitor analysis because I don't have time on these videos. So just note that you can from your side do a lot more than what you see me do here on these videos. We're now at target market with the information that we've gathered now. Now this is where knowledge becomes power, because we've got knowledge of what's happening in the market. We've got knowledge of what the target market is searching for. They're searching for men's shoes. They're searching for formal shoes. They're searching for leather shoes. That's what's going on in the consumer's mind with the real life stats we see on Google. We know that if somebody's searching for it online, it might be that they're looking for options online where the mall is saturated. There's a lot of shoe shops. There's also a lot of feet. So it's always a good thing to be located in a mall for a shoe shop. I'm going to take a different approach. My mindset is now one of I'm going to get my shop location either at Willowbridge Mall or Tiger Valley Mall, and I'm going to go online. So I'm going to have a physical shop and an e-commerce shop, and to cover both markets. So I want the people searching on Google to find me and buy from me, and I want the people walking in the mall to find me and buy from me. And I'll even find the people on Google that is looking for a shoe shop near them in their area, to encourage them to come to my shop by introducing a discount if you buy the shoes in store. I'm going to get creative with this idea. So the opportunity that I see here is definitely a shoe shop in the mall and online. This is the big opportunity that I see. So I can explain it by firstly saying I'm going to have a shoe shop in the mall, and then my second rollout will be e-commerce shoe shop. So let's address it like that. This is the two opportunities that I see, and we can then possibly franchise the concept and get more stores throughout South Africa. That is the opportunity that I see, and this makes me very excited if I was the business owner now. My immediate market will definitely be... So when it comes to the immediate market, you firstly got to ask yourself, of these opportunities that I'm spotting in the market, who's going to buy from me now? That's the question. Who's going to buy from me now? And my number one bet would be to rather open up a shoe shop in the mall and get the traction going within your business. So I'm going to say shoe shop in mall. And then while I'm launching this, making sure that the shop works get some income, signs up some clients. I'm going to start working on my e-commerce site to make sure that I cover the online traffic as well. I might also put the e-commerce site on a different domain just to develop that for the future, but have a website for my shoe shop where I still target people in my area when it comes to Google Ads, get them on the website, get them in my shop. So that's what I'm thinking at this stage when it comes to getting feet into my shop. Right, so that's the immediate market. And then alternative markets will be e-commerce in the future and rest of South Africa. That's my main aim. I'm going to just take that third option away. Partnerships. I want to create good partnerships with the shoe making stock suppliers. So I'm going to say stock suppliers. I want to make a deal with them for the long term to make sure that I can get better prices to my customers. Any possible obstacles will be, let's think a bit. What's a possible obstacle that I've spotted based on the statistics and the data that can hinder my shoe shop idea? My first obstacle that I can think of might be getting a shop in the mall or accessing space in the mall. That might be my first obstacle. A solution for this would then be to get my website up and running and sell the shoes from wherever. Okay, what I mean by this is you want to get your business going no matter what. If I can't find space in the mall, I need to let that go. My perfect idea now is not applicable. I need to start with what I have, where I am, at the place where I need to start. That's where I need to start. So there's no excuses for me. If I don't get space in the mall, I'm going to get my website up and running, and I'm going to make a plan to get traffic on the website and then sell my shoes and my experience online. Right, so no excuses. I just want to encourage you all that you can find a million reasons why something will not work. Ultimately, if the need is there, the market's targeted, you need to find a way to make it work. There's a couple of other obstacles that might also play a big role. I'm not going to jump into that now. This video is getting a bit long. And there you have it. We now have completed our target market. All our market research is now done. You can please, I plead you to spend more time than the video shows you on your market and industry research. You need to dig in, spend at least 4 to 8 hours on this section of the My SME online business course. We now have knowledge, and now we can apply the knowledge to make decisions, and this is truly the concept of knowledge becomes power, because your decisions is backed up by the knowledge, the statistics and the data of what's currently happening out there. And that's the right way to make decisions in business, not thumb-sucking, assuming, just thinking that everything will just work according to plan. That's not how you build business. I hope this video was helpful. I'll see you guys in the next video.